Most people calm down when they finally get a few hours to themselves, don't they? They may curl up with a book, take their dog for a walk, go to the gym, bake a cake, call an old friend, or simply sit outside with a cup of tea, watching the world go by. Free time is supposed to give the body and mind space to breathe. It is where laughter, hobbies, and small joys of life live. But narcissists do not approach rest the way healthy people do. Where you and I may look for calm, they look for stimulation that feeds their ego or their need for control. Silence threatens them because silence exposes the hollowness, the emptiness inside. So they fill their hours with behavior that is just as destructive as it is bizarre. Today, I'm going to take you behind the curtain and show you 7 crazy things narcissists do in their free time. They conspire, gossip, absorb toxic debates, escape into hollow comedy, audit every expense, raid through belongings, and pick random fights. They critique everyone's routine until there is no air left in the room. I'm Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. Welcome to my channel. Before we dive deep, I want to remind you that my membership program, Thrive After Narcissistic Abuse, is opening very soon. And this is the final time you will be able to join at the founding price of $27 per month. If you are not yet on the waiting list, get on it now by clicking the link in the description. It's your chance to build a calmer, freer life with structured support. Now, let's unpack these habits one at a time. Number 1, gossip and conspire. A narcissist's idea of relaxation is often a planning session disguised as conversation. I grew up watching my father pace the room talking about people's careers, their property, cars, children, how much someone had achieved. On the surface, it sounded like curiosity, but the tone always turned sharp. He would dissect every success until he found a reason to dismiss it. My mother expressed the same energy in gossip. She would settle into the sofa with a cup of tea, call one of her sisters, and spend an hour cataloging who wore what to a family event, who looked tired, whose children were falling behind. The more she spoke, the more alive she became. I could almost see the adrenaline in her face. That gossip was not light-hearted. It was fuel that fed a quiet competition running in her mind. When narcissists conspire and gossip, they're not passing time. They're structuring a hierarchy where they sit at the top. Picking apart other people's choices gives them the illusion of superiority. Even when nobody is present, they rehearse criticisms as if an invisible audience is watching. Number 2, they absorb toxic debates. Some people put on news channels to stay informed. Narcissists tune in to watch verbal combat. My father would spend hours glued to television panels where commentators shouted over each other. He did not just watch, no. His face mirrored the tension, his jaw clenched. Sometimes he would mutter under his breath or slam his hand on the arm of the chair. Really, why does this draw them in? Because hostility on screen echoes the turbulence inside them. They do not want calm, they want resonance. The bickering validates their own anger. It's a way of saying, see, the world is as chaotic as I feel. That's why they rarely choose calm documentaries or gentle shows. Anything that lowers the temperature threatens their identity. If you have lived with a narcissist, you may notice how their mood shifts after watching such content. They walk away more irritable, more ready to snap at whoever crosses their path. Number 3, they escape into hollow comedy shows. Not every strange pastime is loud. Sometimes it looks like harmless entertainment. Again, my father often retreated into comedy shows that were vulgar and shallow. Laughter tracks roared in the background while he sat there with a strange smile. The jokes were tasteless, sometimes even cruel. He seemed hypnotized by them somehow. What is happening is a form of escapism. A narcissist does not want to sit with the discomfort of their own thoughts, so they drown them out with cheap humor. But unlike a family gathering where everyone laughs together, their laughter is private and oddly cold. It does not soften them or make them friendlier afterwards. It just suspends their gloom for a while. I've seen survivors blame themselves for not sharing that fun side. The truth is, those hollow moments are not real joy. They're a performance for the self, a way to pretend they're happy without risking closeness. Number four, they audit every expense. Give a narcissist an empty hour and a ledger, and you will witness a theater of control drama. My father kept a thick notebook filled with grocery figures. On lazy afternoons, especially on weekends, he would flip through the pages, calling us one by one to account for the smallest entry. Who bought this? Why? Who said you could? A packet of chips could spark an interrogation long enough to ruin the evening. It was not about budgeting, it was about establishing dominance. By forcing everyone to justify harmless purchases, he reminded us that the home was his kingdom. We tiptoed around shopping lists, afraid of a lecture or worse, physical abuse. For children growing up in that environment, money becomes tied to fear. Even as adults, you may catch yourself defending a simple coffee purchase to nobody in particular, as if an unseen critic torturer is waiting. Number five, they raid through belongings. Healthy people organize their space to feel comfortable, don't they? Narcissists invade it to assert ownership. My father would march into our rooms when boredom struck him. He would open cupboards and drawers. He would flip through school books, tear up old drawings, or break toys while claiming he was decluttering. Curiously, his own items were never touched. That ritual was not about tidying, it was about projecting his internal mess onto us. He needed to remind everyone that nothing truly belonged to us, not even the quiet corners where we stored little treasures for us. I learned to hide things in the least obvious places because anything visible was at risk of disappearing. If you have ever felt nervous leaving personal items in plain sight around a narcissist, you're not overreacting. You have been trained to protect your peace from random destruction. Number six, they pick random fights. Silence makes narcissists really uneasy. If the house feels calm, they search for a reason to break it. My father would sit down as if to rest, then suddenly bring up an event from months ago. Something I supposedly said, my mother said, a mistake someone else made. The conversation would escalate until we were defending ourselves, crying, defending against accusations we barely remembered. These fights were not accidents. They were deliberate attempts to stir energy and prove control over the emotional climate. Once they succeed in upsetting you, they feel a rush of authority. Then, just as quickly, they act as if nothing happened. And that leaves you feeling disoriented and exhausted. A lot of survivors describe living in a constant state of readiness, like soldiers waiting for the next ambush. That vigilance steals the rest you're meant to find in your own home. Number seven, they critique everyone's routine. Even leisure becomes a target under a narcissist's gaze. They watch how you fold laundry, how you relax after work, how you set the table. Then they comment, correct, or ridicule. My father would complain that I read too much. I was not manly like him. I would not go out. My mother could turn the way someone buttered toast into proof of laziness. The goal is not to help or improve, it is to keep you questioning yourself. By placing a spotlight on everyday behavior, they plant doubt in places that should feel safe. Over time, you learn to monitor your own movement, your rituals, and you get afraid that any gesture might trigger criticism. This habit drains vitality from a household. Simple pleasures, stretching out on a sofa, meditating, humming along to music, letting kids leave a puzzle half finished, all of that becomes dangerous. That constant evaluation is why people raised around narcissists struggle to relax even when they finally live alone. Now let's bring it all together. All of these behaviors share one root. They keep the narcissist from facing their own rottenness, conspiring, gossiping, absorbing conflict, laughing at empty jokes, interrogating receipts, raiding homes, picking fights, and critiquing routines are ways to build a wall between themselves and the truth they do not want to meet. For the people around them, it's extremely exhausting. You end up shaping your life around them, avoiding their storms. But you need to know their storms were never proof that you were flawed. They were proof that they could not sit still with themselves. Healing means now learning to protect your space, creating it first, to choose calm over chaos, and to stop apologizing for breathing in rooms where someone tried to erase you. If this resonated with you, remember that I'm here to help. My membership program called Thrive After Narcissistic Abuse is about to open for enrollment, and it will be the final time you can join at the founding price of $27 per month. Get on the waiting list right now. Link is in the description of this episode. I will talk to you in the next one. Until then, as always, let the healing begin and continue.